All right, Battletech enthusiasts, before we jump into today's Battletech vlog and explore a very important tactical point that as a mech warrior, you're going to find yourself in this situation. And we're going to look at a couple of options. Underneath this video in the info box here on the YouTube channel is a link back to my blog. And I've posted on my blog the battle report that we're going to talk about. Lots of pictures in a lot more detail, so you can see the setup and the situation and the narrative a little bit better and a little bit more detail. I will say I did not break quarantine. I haven't put anybody else at risk or myself at risk. This battle was played out in the beginning, early March, before everything kind of went crazy. And what I'm focusing on now, Battletech-wise, painting up a new lance, and also looking at the past 5 or 6 battle reports and really trying to pull out some tactical examples to push up for us to talk about, to position ourselves that when we're able to get back out there and start rolling the dice and blowing up mechs, let's be in a good position. Let's have some tactics. So I'm advancing my Stalker over some sand dunes, and we're going to engage House Davian. I don't know the mechs that House Davian is playing. It was a blind list, meaning at the start of the game, we had X number of battle value. I think it was 6K to purchase whatever units we want. And then as they deploy out, we're going to discover them. Now I have a couple of ideas what I might face based on the mission, and we all have our favorite mechs that we're going to play. I've been playing a Stalker. It is one of my favorite mechs. I have to watch the heat. I do tend to push mechs a lot in terms of heat. You can't give me all those guns and not expect me to fire them. But I've gotten better. In all fairness, I have gotten better. I've shown a little bit more self-restraint as a Stalker mech warrior. And another Davian Stalker comes into view. I'm thinking back to a battle, literally, real time, about 4 years ago, where we had a similar Dogs of War, my mercenary company, and House Davian, Stalker versus Stalker. And at that point, when I saw this other Stalker in the mission, I don't even remember what the mission was at that point. I was like, wait, 2 Stalkers on the table going head to head? We need to do this. We need to make this happen. So to have the same scenario repeat itself was very interesting. And I'm like, I'm going to go Stalker to Stalker. Let's see what happens. And I've been doing such an amazing job at managing my own impulses and heat control. And we're just going to throw that all out and see what we can do. So we advance up, and naturally I've looked at and explored. We've explored. You guys have offered a lot of amazing feedback about the Stalker previously. Tactically, we explored it. I pushed that up to the Battletech playlist here on my YouTube channel. Pushing forward. We start with the long-range missiles, then we move to the lasers, then we move to the short-range punch, and then we get into kicking distance. And I have to say, Stalkers versus Stalkers kicking. I mean, the Stalker's got a ton of armor, and it's absorbing massive amounts of punishment from those kicks. The kicks are just brutal. So tactically, we find ourselves in a position, and this is just my terminology that I used to try and capture the moment when I write some tactical notes. There's this idea of danger close. Danger close is where now 2 mechs have closed anywhere from 1 to 3 hexes away, meaning all of your weapons, inner sphere, any weapon is now in range. You could fire a PPC and have the modifiers that are going to require you 10s or higher or 11s or 12s. Because you have the short-range modifiers, you have the penalties for being under them, you've got movement, mech movement, but you can still fire it. Machine guns, long range, you can still fire them. So every weapon in the game is up for grabs. And when we see this with danger close, this is where heavy and assault mechs become truly terrifying. An example, even pushing the heat, the Warhammer becomes terrifying. The Stalker becomes terrifying. Things with an autocannon 20 become terrifying because you're just going to blast away at everything. This is your chance to really deal the damage and cripple things. Not to mention that even a very slow mech, next turn could close, and now you're in punch, punch, kick, kick, point blank range. I mean, there's a lot you can do with physical attacks. You're in range for death from above. I mean, everything, all the tactical options can be brought to bear. So the challenge with Danger Close is the idea of a mech forward armor versus rear armor. You're locked in. You are locked in. So you have to know when you want to get locked in with Danger Close, because now that you're locked in, so this stalker to stalker, we're going at each other. And I mean, it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. We're just blasting away massive amounts of punishment, going to internals, holding my breath that ammo doesn't explode again, pushing the heat, fighting modifiers. If I break off the attack, so when you're locked into Danger Close, if you break off the attack, you moving backwards, right? If you pivot and try to run away, your opponent is going to be able to easily get rear armor and with the brunt of its weapons to bear. Even if you got a Battlemaster or a Dragon, something with rear firing lasers, you're putting yourself at tremendous risk. Likewise, it's kind of like, how fast can you push all the fire buttons? Because if you're locked in and it goes to internals and you've got ammo, or you take an engine hit or something, you're in a lot of trouble, because it's dangerous, difficult, very hard to break away. So you need to kind of time it with closing to Danger Close. I mean, on the one hand, we want to get there because we want to utilize all of the weapons, especially if you're a heavy or an assault class mech. Absolutely. Obviously, light mechs can put up the speed to break away because they have the modifiers, movement modifiers, often jump capability. Some mediums have the ability to break away. So it's not to say all mechs don't have the ability, but the heavier tonnage, they don't. You need to plan. You want to get to Danger Close, but you have to look what else is around. And, it's a dice-based game. Anything can happen. Everything's going great till you take a PPC to the head. But looking at if my Stalker and Stalker is engaged and another mech is battling out nearby, and that's also locked in Danger Close. In this case, it was a Vindicator on my team. Is the Vindicator going to be finished off, and now the mechs that were fighting that other mech is going to come in and swarm me? Danger Close, you're very vulnerable to other mechs working around to side or rear armor, or physical attacks while the other mech shoots you. A great way to break that kind of Danger Close, or to really utilize it, is if, again, this example, a lot of pictures over on my blog, looking at Stalker to Stalker. If your opponent is able to get another mech base to base on the side, now physical attacks on the side, that creates a big problem for the Stalker or the assault mech, because I want to turn to possibly face and deliver my own physical attacks, especially if it's against a medium, because I can cripple it. But in doing so, well, now I've taken a lot of my primary weapons to bear off of the other target that I'm locked with. And if we're talking an initiative scale and the target that I was locked in with didn't go yet, they're going to get rear armor. So really, it's a challenge where we want to get there, but we need to anticipate the next 3 or 4 turns with how things are going to go. Is my opponent going to get more tactical assets there? Am I going to get more tactical assets there? What is going on? But in my mind, the most exciting point of Battletech, and I try to play the mission. I do, and I want to win the game. But you can't put that narrative in front of me. You can't put the opportunity for Stalker versus Stalker glory, winner takes all, and not expect Fritz to take it.